Hi peeps, I'm going to show you how I did my first landscape actually. This is a landscape of islands that I'm going to use on an illustration of a female dragon flying by. She's a very red fiery dragon, so I went for all blue and green and gray tones to make her pop more. And so I started by the sea for a gradient. I set the horizontal line and I used one of the gradients of Clip Studio Paint to be able to have a gradient palette that I agreed with. I moved it around and to the scene itself, to that I added the sky because I wanted to be very bright, like mid-noon kind of day. In Halong, I saw a lot of pictures to be able to pull it off. I did it like this, and I started first by the structure of the islands, and basically layers upon layers of how I shaped it. And to show you from the beginning, just gray shapes, and from those gray shapes I started sculpting how I wanted the islands to be, imitation Halong Island. Given that the setting is very blue, I use a bluish gray and darken it, line it up, structure it, and give it a little bit of texture, rocky texture, both from the islands here and the islands in the background, the darker texture or the darker lines and the shines on it. And once I had the structure of the rocks in themselves, I added the vegetation, going from darker plainest colors to in greens to very bright greens when the sun is coming. The sun is coming from the right side to the left side. And to that I added shadows in this section and in the section in the background that are farthest from the sun or contrary to the sun to give more two-dimensionality to the piece. These are the main islands, but I also wanted to break and give the spectator a way to read it. So I popped two more islands following the same process as the ones before them, but given that we're dealing with perspective, this would be the Mile Islands would be the base color. This one would be clearer. This one will be in a tone clearer, and this one would be more saturated than the main island, and the closest to the spectator, the most saturated of them all. Afterwards, I went for the water. First, to give the water some shape, some currents, and some shines according to the sky and the clouds that it's going to have. Based on that, I placed my reflections, I blurred them, and I managed them and reshaped them, basically copying the layers, turn them down, and angling them. And I applied the sea shadow and the sea shines so I could have this fluid texture of water in the whole plane, going from small to big and more clear the closest it gets to the spectator. And for the sky, I went for puffy white clouds, a little bit of bluish gray to give them a little bit of shape, and a darker blue in reflection of the sea that they're holding on and holding above. And this would be my first landscape. I hope you guys liked it.